Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is David Benjamin from HealthyWildandFree.com. Today I want to answer the question, can too much fruit sugar or fruit juice be harmful to your health, specifically your insulin sensitivities, blood sugar levels, and your pancreas health? And the reason I'm proposing this question, can too much fruit juice be harmful, is because I wrote an article recently on my blog called Can Too Much Fruit Sugar, can too much fruit from fruit sugar, which is fructose, be harmful to your health? And I wrote the post and I just shared my opinion on things based on a little bit of science, but then also just how the body works. If you think about how the body uses calories, both macronutrients and micronutrients, and understand the role that carbs, fats, proteins, and all these different macronutrients play in producing energy and giving you energy, it's important to understand that each plays their role. And I basically wrote, sharing that carbs, fats, and proteins really all have their role, and you need to have all three of them in your diet, all three of those macronutrients within your diet, because your body runs off of each of those sources of fuel or sources of energy in its own way. And to depend specifically only on fructose, fruit sugar, may not be the smartest approach to keeping your body in a state of energetic harmony, meaning having harmony within the different energy production centers within your body. Because if you're depending too heavily on fructose or fruit sugar, healthy fats or protein or things of that nature, which are slower absorbing and slower putting out energy for you and your body, will not be as, first of all, will be depleted and kind of degraded over time, but then they're going to be weakened as well, because you're stressing your pancreas and you're putting all this energy into your pancreas, and you're really not keeping those active. So the question, let's answer these two questions in two separate questions. So first question, can too much fruit sugar or fruit juice be harmful? My answer to that is it's very possible, because in today's modernized society, and if you really look at everything, sugar is added to everything. I mean, literally everything. If everything processed in a package, to some degree, most likely has sugar in it. And even things down to, you'd be surprised, like bread and grains and all these different processed foods that are in packages, whether it be boxes, bags, cans, whatever it may be. A lot of these things have sugar now. So the amount of sugar has gone up over the last 100 years, and even each decade I would imagine it goes up a little bit, because it's just, sugar is being added to everything, so it's really hard to actually avoid it unless you're eating a whole food diet rich in vegetables, fruits, grains, healthy plants and proteins and things of that nature. It's really hard to avoid excess sugar intake. So the reason I think specifically fruit juice can be not as beneficial is because when you consume fruit, right? When you take a fruit, for example, an apple is a great example. You eat an apple, and with that apple you're getting fiber. And that fiber actually slows the absorption of that fructose, of that fruit sugar, within your body, so that it releases it a little bit slower. Whereas if I were to juice an apple or an orange or really any fruit, and I drink that juice straight, it's void of that fiber, meaning I'm literally injecting straight fructose, fruit sugar, into my body, and my pancreas and my insulin levels and my blood sugar levels all spike very quickly. Whereas if I eat the fruit, it has a little bit more time. So it's something that, if you drink a huge thing of, orange juice or apple juice, whatever it may be, and you're always drinking fruit juice, you're really causing your pancreas to work very hard to basically essentially use all of that sugar and then put back out the energy, because your body is relying on fructose and fruit sugar as energy when it could be relying on fruit sugar, proteins, fats, and other forms of macronutrients. So it's important to see that, and you can also get a lot of micronutrients in vegetable juice as well. So I recommend having vegetable juice, and if you do want to have that fruit flavor in your juice, maybe just juice one fruit, but then have the majority of the juice that you're juicing be vegetable juice: celery, kale, cucumber, maybe carrot, which carrots have a little bit of sugar but not too much, and just a variety of greens. So to answer the question, can too much fruit juice from fruit juice be harmful? I think I would say it's as harmful as drinking soda or something along those lines, because there's going to be more sugar in that, or energy drinks. Plus, it's more acidic and acidifying within the body, and it's the food dyes and preservatives, and on and on. The list goes on and on. It's more detrimental overall. But I would definitely drink a juice that has a balance, at least has more than half green juice or vegetable juice, and then maybe just add one fruit to your fruit juice. And if you buy fruit juice in the store, whether it's any berry juice or orange, apple, whatever, any type of juice, I recommend just taking sips at a time. I don't recommend drinking the whole 16 ounces or whatever it is, 12 ounces or 18 ounces of fruit juice in one sitting, because you're really causing your pancreas to work really hard when you do that, because the fiber isn't there. That's why I really think that smoothies are a little bit better than juicing overall, long-term and big picture, because you're getting the fiber and the nutrition still, so your body gets all those benefits, and it slowly assimilates that sugar. So that answers the fruit juice question. On to the fruit, can eating too much fruit be harmful question. Now, like I said, sugar is in literally everything in our modern day society. It's added to chips, crackers, cookies, obviously, but then it's even in breads and things, and grains and soups and things that you wouldn't think that it would be in. So when you realize that sugar is added to a lot of different foods in modern day society, you start to realize that you're already eating more sugar, even if you're not even trying, than you really should be. You're eating more than enough sugar, meaning your pancreas is already having plenty of sugar hit it, and insulin spikes and those types of things. And it's your number one source of energy, so to speak. And that's, like I said, you're eating a very healthy whole foods diet, and I really hope you are. But it's still important to understand that even if you eat anything processed, and we all eat to some degree something processed, to some degree, eating just sugar, and fruit sugar specifically, eating a lot of fruit can just add to that fruit and fruit sugar and that sugar effect on your body, which once again is your pancreas, and you could stress your pancreas. So some people, for example, they eat kind of whenever they want, a lot of snacks and kind of junk food for half of their diet, but then the other half of their diet, the other 50%, is just a ton of fruits, banana, kiwi, apple, orange, whatever it may be. And there's just a lot of fruit and then a lot of processed food, so they think they're eating healthy because they eat a lot of fruit, but the processed food in their diet already has a lot of sugar, and then you add the fruit sugar on top of that, and your body is solely relying on sugar as its main source of energy, and you're not getting good, healthy, organic sources of protein, and you're not getting good, organic, healthy sources of fats. When fats and proteins, your liver come into play more, and your hormones and slower burning sources of fuel, things of that nature that fats and proteins bring to your body and bring to your health, and then your liver starts to be a source of energy for you too. So you can kind of rely on your pancreas and your liver for sources of energy and hormones that give you energy, as opposed to just sugar, pancreas, down your pancreas, insulin and blood glucose spiking, and then dropping, and then spiking, and then dropping, and then it becomes this kind of yo-yo effect. And it's not really a good long-term strategy for your best health and well-being. So it's important to understand that. And it is interesting too, because when I wrote this article, someone left a comment and said, I mentioned that Steve Jobs had pancreatic cancer, and he was actually a fruitarian for several years in his early 20s, before kind of while Apple was growing and taking off. And obviously a lot of stress and things like that can cause cancer, and will cause cancer as well. But he was a fruitarian, and the majority of his diet for those several years, I want to say it was 3 or 4 years or something, was just 100% fruit. Like, all he ate was fruit. He ate 100% fruit. And one of the people that commented on this said that he often drank fruit juice as well, apparently. This is what she read somewhere. And so he would eat fruit and drink fruit juice, and all of his energy was reliant upon fructose, fruit sugar, otherwise known as fruit sugar. So, and it's interesting that he developed pancreatic cancer, and like I said, stress has something to do with that as well. But I think that if you're not relying on your other organs and other sources of energy, slower burning sources of energy, fruit or fruit sugar or fruit juice, too much of it can just kind of weaken your pancreas over time and make it more susceptible to things. I'm not saying fruit is detrimental or harmful in any way whatsoever. I think fruit is great. I think vegetables and fruit should be some of the richest sources of foods in your diet if you have like a food pyramid, your own food pyramid. But at the same time, it is interesting too, because if you look at old, for example, in the Bible, and I'm not a Christian or anything like that, but if you look at the Bible, the very first chapter of the Bible says, something about the forbidden fruit. And it is interesting how there's certain things, and if you just look real closely, it is kind of interesting how fruit can become addictive as well. I've caught myself multiple times in the summer eating watermelon. I'll just eat like all this watermelon. I'm like, whoa, I just ate like 14 pounds of watermelon. And the people that I have known that are fruitarians, these are people that eat 80% fruit, 10% and 10% something else, nuts, seeds, and whatnot, but they eat 80% fruit. They eat a massive amount of fruit and vegetables, but really a lot of fruit. I mean, a ridiculous amount of fruit. Like an insane amount of food. I couldn't believe my eyes how much food fruitarians eat. It would be ridiculous for every human being to even afford how much fruit they eat. It's that insane. So it's a fast-burning source of fuel, and I think healthy fats and proteins are beneficial as well. Healthy proteins they build the body up as well. So muscle tissue, skin, hair, nails, etc., organs, collagen, things like that. Protein is beneficial for that. And then healthy fats are the lubrication for a lot of things within your body, your joints, your mobility, as well as your brain health and things like that. So if you're eating a lot of fruit, try to mix it up and stop doing all the fruit juice and fruit and add more vegetables and sprouts and nuts and seeds and grains and healthy, organic, free-range meat and things of that nature, because that's going to add more variety to your diet and more sources of energy, so that you have more of an energetic, once again, harmony within your body, not being too reliant on glucose and insulin and these types of things for quick energy and then kind of up and down. So I think it's just something worth looking into. I wrote an article, like I said, about this. It's linked up right below this video, so go ahead and click that link and read the article to learn more about this. But just drink more vegetable juice and have a little bit of fruit juice every once in a while, of course, if you want to. I'm not here to say what you can and cannot do, but definitely have vegetable juice along with fruit juice if you choose to have fruit juice. So this is David Benjamin from healthywildandfree.com. Thanks so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you learned something from it, liked it, or enjoyed it in any way whatsoever, please like it, favorite it, comment, and share the video below. Once again, the article below talks about fruit and fruit sugar, and you can learn more by reading the article right below. I'm also on Facebook on the Healthy, Wild, and Free Facebook page, so be sure to follow that page for healthy inspiration and updates on a daily basis. And also make sure to subscribe to the email newsletter on healthywildandfree.com. This is David Benjamin. Thanks a lot for your time. Live healthy, wild, and free, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.